What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing great. There's been a ton of things that have happened, uh, especially in regards to Switch 2, its announcement. And I'm sure you guys have already watched the streams and seen the games and seen the price. But today we're going to be talking about the news of what the hell is Nintendo doing with the Nintendo Switch 2 and the pricing of these games. This joint is out of control. Like history is repeating itself. But we'll go over that. I'm gonna highlight the major announcements. Obviously, there's tons of third-party games coming, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Elden Ring, and a whole bunch of others. But we're gonna be focusing on Switch games that I'm going to be covering. Some very interesting games. I'm just going to highlight the ones that stuck out to me. But first, we're going to start off with the price of the Switch 2. So the Switch 2 is $100 more than the Switch OLED model, which is $350. It's going to be $450. And then there's the bundle with Mario Kart, which is really what you want to get. It's $500. And the reason why that is, we're going to go over that when we get to it, and it's because of the pricing of the games. It's like we're going back in time. I don't know how many of you were gamers during the 90s or during the 80s for that matter. I wasn't a gamer in the 80s. I mean, technically I was, but I was a kid. I don't remember any of it. You know, I had a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, so on and so forth. But let me tell you, these games back in the day were freaking expensive. $80. But anyways, I digress. So the Nintendo Switch presentation was actually, I enjoyed it. They showed mostly video games. They showed us a lot of things that we'd be interested in. They showed us the mouse functionality. They showed us a camera that they're going to be selling and a chat feature. But the price gouging is happening on so many levels with Nintendo. I know everybody's gonna buy the Switch. You know how it is. You know, these Nintendo fans are loyal. But as far as the pricing for Mario Kart, right? Mario Kart. I don't even know if y'all can see this. Hold on, let me zoom in real quick. Look at that. Hold on, let's zoom in. Available June 5th. MSRP of $79.99, right? That's $80. Now you see those three little asterisks? Do you know what that means? It's $80 for the digital version. If you want to get the physical version, is $90. That's why it's better to just buy the bundle with Mario Kart World, and you're basically paying $50 for this game. That is my suggestion to everybody if you're going to be buying the Switch 2 anyway, this is what I suggest you do. You know? Right here, you see it? Nintendo Switch 2 with Mario Kart World bundle, that's $500. That's what you want to get. So $80 for digital and $90 for the physical. That's crazy. I don't think I ever recall a time where there was a discrepancy between digital and physical. And if there was, in terms of price, a discrepancy in price, and if there was a discrepancy in price, it was very small, like $5. This is crazy. $10 difference is nuts. That joint better have a booklet in it. That's all I'm gonna say. This is pissing everybody off. When I saw those prices, I was like, God, that's crazy. You bugging. Nintendo don't care about nobody. In case you didn't know, Nintendo don't care about you. Nintendo don't care about us. Don't care about nobody. They do what they're gonna do, and they don't care. That's just the way they've been. That's the way they've always been. That's the way they will always be. Right? Another first party game that was announced was Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now, this game looked absolutely incredible. It's not a launch title. It's coming out in July, a month later, I believe July 17th, if I'm not mistaken, a few days after my birthday. But this game looks awesome. Imagine Red Faction and Hulk Ultimate Destruction and Environmental Destruction, but with Donkey Kong punching and digging and destroying everything. It's beautiful. It looks incredible. Now, the price on this game is $70 for the digital version, $80 if you want the physical version. Right? And now, and we'll get into why history is repeating itself. Because back in the 90s, Super Nintendo, it was free reign on the pricing. It was like up to the publisher, I guess. I don't know, because I was a kid and I wasn't smart enough to know anything. Internet was very, very limited, just starting out, dial up. You know, it's not like everybody had access to that and you could just research. There was Google. None of that existed. We had AOL. Okay. You got mail. You know, that's where we were at with it. Okay. But I still remember N64 games being $80 and $90 games. I remember because I had a PlayStation, which is where the pricing was standardized. Every game was $50. And you might find some games for $40. Then there's the used game market. That's a topic for another video. I do want to make a video about that. Talk about how I used to buy games as a kid. Yeah. Because, you know, when you're a kid, especially back in that time, you know, my parents I only got games twice a year. Christmas and my birthday. And that was it. If I wanted to get a game, I had to buy it myself. So you already know. I'll tell you that story. It starts when I was like 6 or 7 years old. But we'll leave that for another video. I'm going off on a tangent. But this game looks incredible. You know, I highly suggest you go look up some gameplay. I'm not going to do that right now. I want to get to the rest of this news. We finally got Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Obviously, it's a Switch game, but there is going to be a Switch 2 version, which docked is going to be 4K 60. Beautiful. Then it also has a performance 1080p, 120 frames per second, HDR. I was blown away by this right here. Hopefully this is a $60 game. I don't know nothing about pricing. It might be a $70 game. I don't know. Probably on Switch, there's going to be a discrepancy in pricing. The Switch one is probably going to be 60 or 70, and then they'll freaking charge 80 on the Switch 2 version. Who knows? I wouldn't put it past Nintendo. But I'm definitely going to be playing this. I've beaten every single Metroid Prime. I had Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. I beat them all. So I'm definitely going to be playing this. I'm definitely going to be beating this. I know I'm a sucker. I'm going to get a Switch 2 eventually. Yes, whatever. But yeah, I cannot not play this game. Like, that's just, I love Metroid. I love Samus. Super Metroid is one of my favorite games of all time. I love that game. Played that joint as a kid. I didn't know, I never beat it as a kid, but I played the hell out of that game as a kid. Actually, did I beat it? I might have beat it with some of my brother's friends. I don't remember. I'm going to be honest. I was a kid. But I remember the game being awesome. And then the Holy Grail. You cannot believe it. This is, you just cannot believe that this is happening. I couldn't believe it. The DuskBloods. It seriously looks like a spiritual successor to Bloodborne, because Sony isn't doing anything with Bloodborne, and Miyazaki is directly handling this and directing this game. And it's going to be a PvPvE game. And it looks incredible. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, obviously, it has its soulisms, I'll call it. You know, the direction of the trailer, the way the characters looked very Victorian in architecture, very Bloodborne-y. And it is exclusive to the Switch too. So this game alone, knowing that Miyazaki, anybody who wants to play this Souls-like game, guess what? You got to buy a Nintendo Switch 2, because that's the only place you're going to see it, because Nintendo struck a deal with FromSoft to make a game exclusively for them. And this is what they came up with, especially playing into the connectivity of the game chat feature, the chat button that's on the controller, and having share screens and being able to see your friends on the bottom. You know what I'm talking about. If you saw the announcement stream for the Switch 2, the Nintendo Direct, you saw it. And so this is going to be very interesting. We need more information on this game. Miyazaki, if you happen to watch this video, I know I'm nobody, I'm not special, you know, I don't got millions of views or thousands of views or any of that, but please,
and contemplate now the moon, as befits the
please make this a $60 game. Don't let Nintendo, I mean, it is a Nintendo game. What am I talking about? They're going to charge whatever they want. This is probably going to be an $80 game. Who knows at this point. I hope they turn that back. I hope. But knowing Nintendo, no dice. They don't care. But yeah, DuskBloods looked incredible. Incredible.
The moon tears will flow.
So we'll see how it pans out. We'll see how the backlash goes. We'll see how the first week of sales go as far as the Switch 2 is concerned, because that's going to tell us the climate in terms of if we're going to be able to convince Nintendo to change the price on anything. But we'll see what happens. I don't think so. And this is going back to, like I said, back in the 80s, 90s, video games were super expensive. An $80 video game from the 90s with inflation, you're almost paying $200 nowadays for a game that we paid $80 for back in the 90s, because that's how games were. It was all over the place. There'll be $40 games. There'll be $50 games. There'll be $70 games. There'll be $60 games, $80 games, $90 games. And then if a game was rare and they had it at a store, get ready for the custom price. They're going to smack you over the head. That's how it was back in the day. You know, but I hope not. I hope we standardize it, you know, because I'm telling you right now, every publisher in the world, everywhere, everyone is looking at this, seeing this. And if you Nintendo fans go ahead and buy everything and just eat it up, guess what? This is all they're going to be seeing, right? And then the next thing you know, PlayStation follows suit, Xbox follows suit. Everybody's selling games for $80. So please, let's try to tackle this with some tact. Let's not just jump in because it's your favorite system and your favorite games. Don't get me wrong, I'm a sucker. I'm gonna get one too, and I'm gonna get the games also, you know, because it is what it is. But hopefully we can convince them otherwise. At least I admit it. I know that I shouldn't, but I know myself. I'm going to. Other than that, these were the biggest announcements that were shown during the presentation. I just went over the pricing. You already know what to do. So if you're a Nintendo fan, do yourself a favor, buy the bundle. Do not. This is the key. This is the major key. This is how we're going to get Nintendo to revert this. Do not buy the physical copy. Number one, do not. And do not buy the digital copy either. Only this game should only be bought through the bundle. $50 for you, Nintendo. Get it right. Don't play me. All right, we got to band together. We got to do this as a unit. Otherwise, they're just going to do whatever they do. Nintendo does whatever they do anyway. But, you know, hopefully we could, you know, convince them that this isn't a good idea. Because after PlayStation standardized the games at $50, it took years before they raised to $60. And then it wasn't until like a couple of years ago that they started releasing games at $70. So we need to stick to that. Let's not go back to the Wild Wild West. That was the 80s and 90s in video games where prices were all over the place. Prices were all over the place. Matter of fact, let me show you. I'm going to look it up real quick. Let me see if I can find some images. Beautiful. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. Let's blow this up. We're gonna check out a couple of these. Open image in new tab. Hold on. Look at this. Open image in new tab. N64. These freaking games were way out of control. Look at them prices, bro. 007, $112. Turok, $93. Diddy Kong Racing, $112. Extreme G, $93. Right? That's one example. Look at this one. Oh, this is pixelated to hell. Let me see if I can find a decent quality one. All right, you can see the prices there. Mario Kart 64, $60. NBA Shootout, $40. Do you see what I'm talking about? Star Wars, I remember this. My cousin had this game, $70. Super Mario 64, $60. And you will go to the game store, and because, you know, we had to go to like local game stores. It wasn't even like going to like an electronic boutique and where you could get MSRP. You will go to some of these local game shops and this is $60 MSRP. They have it there for $64. You paying the $64. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it was back in the day. But see, PlayStation had it right. $40. You see what I'm talking about? PlayStation had it right. $50. Look at this. Doom 64, $75. Bro. It's crazy. Soul Blade, $50. But look at this. Die Hard Trilogy, because it was a trilogy. It was $55. You see what I'm saying? The prices were all over the place. We're going back to this, guys. And that's even before tariffs hit, you know, and all of that. It could get much worse. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good. So join me in this battle by not buying the digital or physical version of Mario Kart. I know you want it. I want it too, but not for $90. Get the bundle, and then when they roll back that crazy price, because you already know if we start buying these games $80, $90, everybody goes to $80, $90. The crazy games like GTA 6 is definitely going to charge you $100, maybe even more, $120, $110. I ain't trying to pay. No. Too expensive. It's too expensive. Anyways, let me know how you feel about this in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? How do you feel about this Nintendo Switch 2 situation and the way they're trying to raise the prices on these games? Let me know. And until next time, take it easy and peace out.